Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to this channel. My name is Chris Douglas. I'm a creative entrepreneur, and today in this video we're going to talk about how to find your thing if you can't find your thing. And think about it, like the essence of this is the journey that's taken me to get here to share this stuff with you. Is the whole time I was trying to find my thing, and I went from building a brand to getting into video, to getting into photo, to getting into editing, to getting into graphics, to essentially, if you break down everything, and then audio, I even did a podcast, but if you break down all those elements, it was learning each step of the process to become a YouTuber, right? And it was in the middle of that process, I think, was the most confusing for me, because everybody's like, focus on one thing, niche down, just find your thing, niche down. And if I would have listened to that advice, I wouldn't be successful right now, and I wouldn't be sharing this advice with you, because that advice was completely opposite. I was finding my thing, and I was going through my own process, and it was in learning video, photo, editing, graphic design, handling audio, doing a podcast, that I'm able to put it all together here on a YouTube channel and share it with you. But in the mix of doing all that stuff, I was so confused, and I felt like I was scattered. But what I was actually doing was sampling, and that's where you essentially pick up a new thing that you're interested in, and you learn it, and then instead of like going all the way through and fulfilling it, or completing it all the way and mastering it, you go on to the next thing, because you're learning a bunch of small things that come together into one big thing. But my main message here today is that if you can't figure out your thing, you're in the middle of learning your thing. And I think that's the most important statement to take from this, because in the time of doing all that, I was searching for my thing, and I tried to create a YouTube channel. I tried to talk. Like, I had Akati production, which is now this channel pivoted from Akati. I even built the channel Chris Douglas Spiritual Guide, where I was talking about spiritual stuff, but I couldn't keep it going. It was like pivotal parts, but it wasn't like the channel. And then I tried dropping cinematic edits, and those weren't popping off. But everybody's like, dude, your cinematic edits are so dope. How are you not viral on YouTube? And it wasn't the time yet, because if that happened, then this wouldn't have happened. But in doing everything I've done to this point, I've essentially learned like what my purpose was to be a trailblazer, leave his 9 to 5, go off into business, have never taken a business course, no business experience, just literally like learning through the process of somebody who hasn't gone through it. And now everything that I share with you is from somebody just like you, who used to work a 9 to 5, decided to pick up a camera and a drone and say that he was a content creator and creating content, and then to turn it into a full-scale business that is actually scaling to an agency. And that's self-sustainable now. And now I'm having fun, and I'm like reconnecting back to my why, which is simply just to create, to share. But now I have this stuff to share that's valuable with people who need this advice, and that's the beauty of it all. Is like, what I'm getting at is I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the wisdom, I didn't have the information. I was still stuck in the middle of the process. So no wonder I couldn't do this stuff a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago when I tried. But every time I tried, I got a little bit further, and then I'd fell. And then I'm like, dang, it's not for me. And then the 75-day YouTube challenge showed up, and I was like, I'm kind of bored with life. I'm kind of bored with my business. I feel like I'm growing, and I don't know what direction it is, but this is that feeling I was looking for. And when I felt that feeling, like, I knew that this would be successful. I just had to literally commit to it. I had to be consistent with it. And before we go off on a side tangent of all that, it's just understanding where you're at in the process. And if you can't figure out what your one thing is, you're still in that process and you're still learning. So keep track of everything you're doing, and don't try to like pin it down in the process, right? Like, be aware of it and allow it to come to you or to be shown to you when it's important, but also just like allow yourself to be curious and explore and learn new skills, learn new talents, because the aggregation of all those put together, that'll create something awesome. And though you might benefit from monetizing small pieces of it, like for instance, like I did video, photo, and then video, photo editing and so forth, and grew it. Like, I wanted to stop and master those, but I couldn't. And then I learned podcasting, and then I learned, audio. I learned all these different aspects. And now when I put them all together, I'm like, I got this figured out. But in the middle of it, I did not have at any point that I was like, I got this figured out. I started trying to teach stuff that I was learning, but I hadn't processed it fully, and I hadn't fully like implemented or integrated it into my life. So I wasn't an expert on it. So why would I be talking about it and sharing it, right? Because I'm still learning it. But it's just understanding where you're at in the process and honoring it, and also like being patient. I hate that word, and my grandma said it to me since I was a kid, like, patience is a virtue. And it wasn't until this year, and being 33 and being 7 years in business now, like I finally started understanding, like, it takes patience, it takes time, it takes consistency. Like, you got to go through your process and understand what you're doing in life before you can go back and teach somebody. But once you know it, once you do it, you will know it. And when you know it, that's your invite, that's your time to start teaching it and sharing it with other people, and just consistently putting it out there in different ways, in different forms. And then you'll understand if people are going to listen to this message, and if you can double down and expand it, or if it's something that people aren't interested in yet, and then you can put out some other content until you can figure out a segue to get them interested in that content. Or maybe they're not even interested in what you're talking about because it's not what you're meant to talk about, right? It's just a part of your process that you're learning. But then after, 5 years from watching this video today, maybe that's when you get your thing. Hopefully it's sooner than that, but maybe that's when your thing comes to you. And that's when you're gonna be like, I got it, I figured it out. This video made so much sense. And that's my hopes. It's just like, what advice, what knowledge can I give you through my own process that I wish somebody would have told me that I didn't have, that will save you time of, searching for it and understanding that you're in the middle of this process and it's gonna come to you, but when, we don't know, but when it does, you will know it. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video today, and have a great rest of your day.